Hello and welcome to Illuminate Your Truth. I am your host, Elena Isis, and I am so grateful that you are joining me today. And I really feel like I'm getting this call to just kind of share a few tips on how to actually decode energy. This is a great episode if you're an empath, if you are very sensitive to energy, if you feel very deeply. This is an episode for you. Okay, so let's dive on in. So how to become adept at decoding energy. So if you are always feeling others' energy and you feel like sometimes it kind of just takes you over and you don't know what's yours and what's somebody else's, you're not alone. This is very common. It just means that you are sensitive to energy. It just means that you have a psychic ability that you need to hone, that you need to just kind of work with. And it is a blessing. A lot of people in the beginning of your journey might think that it's a curse because you're just picking up things that you don't want to. And you're feeling these feelings that you really don't want to be feeling. You're taking on other people's energy. You're taking on other people's problems. You're experiencing maybe your energy being stolen. And you're just probably in this spot of like, I don't really know what to do. I really this is a lot and I just don't know. And that's okay. I really feel like I spent a lot of time there, maybe a couple of years, maybe a few years at that point where I'm like, I don't know what to do because all of it is too much. But no, we can fix that. We can work with our gifts, but first we have to understand our gifts. If you can pick up on the energy in a room that is full of people, if you can walk into a room and be like, I know that I don't want to go in there, that is a superpower. If you are around someone and you feel like they don't like you, you're probably right. And that is your second sense just really protecting you and letting you know what that person is thinking. And we're going to dive a little bit deeper into that, what a person is thinking and how it's going to how it makes you feel. We're going to dive into that. That's actually one of my steps here. Okay, so let's dive on into step number one. And step number one is to trust what you feel. And I cannot stress this enough with the trusting. Not only are we trusting God or our guides to guide us, but we're also trusting ourselves. We have to trust ourselves and what we feel. It's really easy to chalk it up to, I didn't feel that. It's really easy to chalk it up to that. But if you really do want to start understanding energy and how to control it and how to not let it control you, then you really have to start trusting what you feel. And what do I mean by that? Well, let me give you a little example. Let's say you meet somebody and like I said earlier, you feel like they might not like you. And you're just kind of picking up on that. No one's really told you that they don't like you, but you just know, all right, just with their interaction and what you feel. You have to start trusting those things. A lot of times we like to tell ourselves, oh, I didn't just feel that. That was just, I don't know what that was. But you really just have to take those moments where you're really deeply moved by something and you really feel like you know that you have a grasp on it, on a feeling, on an energy. You have to trust it. You have to trust it. If you feel like there's somebody, like a spirit in the room or an entity in a room, then there probably is. I'm really one to be like, well, that's true. That's what you see. That's what you feel. You really just have to start trusting yourself and stop thinking that you don't feel what it is that you're feeling. And how do you do this? Just by starting to trust. Starting, even if it's one little feeling at a time, just sit with that feeling. Sit with that feeling and just try to read into it if you can, and just trust what you feel, because it's protection whenever you can know. And I know that I pick up on so much more than just eyes could see. It goes a lot deeper, but you have to trust yourself and what you feel. Step number 2 is being mindful of abrupt changes to your mood or thought. So we're trusting, and we are going through our day pretty conscious of our emotions, conscious of what we're feeling at the time. And sometimes you'll be feeling just fine. And then all of a sudden someone will come in. It might not even be a person. Sometimes it could be a spirit that walks into the room. Let's keep it simple. So let's say a person walks in the room. You're totally fine. All of a sudden you feel horrible, or the energy shifts and you don't know why you are just an asshole. Some energy can just make you angry out of nowhere. And some people can have thoughts of you and it can be aggressive. And sometimes you'll be like, oh my God, I kind of want to fight you, but you haven't even said anything to me. Like, I don't even know you. Sometimes it can be that intense, but be very mindful of your mood and your thoughts whenever you're around other people. You want to be conscious of that, and you want to ask yourself the question, is this me? Because I was just feeling okay. I'm sitting here, I'm not really doing anything different to feel this intense shift of emotion. I wonder what it is. I wonder, oh, okay, that's not mine. And whenever I can piece that together, I release it. And I also pray. I usually pray to Archangel Michael to cut cords, to release this stagnant negative energy that I may have picked up from someone. Or I pray to God to please protect me and release this energy. But you really just want to be mindful of those abrupt changes, because that's not super normal to have a mood shift like that, especially in the middle of doing something that you were already doing. So just be mindful of that. And I like to ask myself the question, is this me? Is this mine? And usually you're able to pinpoint it. And you may not be able to pinpoint the person exactly, but it doesn't really matter as long as you know that the energy is not yours and you can release it and go back to just being in your own energy. And at that point, I would protect myself. Like I said, call in God, call in Archangel Michael to protect me at that very moment, because there's a lot of energy vampires out there. There's a lot of people who are manipulators. There's a lot of sociopaths out here who really are just looking to take advantage of you. And so we really just have to be mindful of our energy and of the energy around us and our mood and our thoughts. Number 3 is, you probably heard this a lot, but I'm going to say it because it's one of the most important things in spirituality, is to meditate. Okay, that's how you're going to know what is your energy, is sitting in silence with yourself, being alone. I say 5 minutes a day to start. If you're going to start a meditation practice, which I highly, highly suggest. In the beginning of my journey, I did 5 minutes to start every day. And then I wanted to go a little bit longer. And so then I started doing 10, 20, 30, 40 minutes. And then I was just kind of journeying whenever I wanted. I didn't even need to really lay down and do this crazy meditation. I could just go. That's what happens when you get really proficient in meditation. And whenever you get proficient in meditation, you understand what your energy is, because you're sitting with it. You're sitting with yourself. You're with yourself and only you. And in this space of silence and looking within, that's the best way to understand what your energy is and what someone else's is. Also, to ground, I categorize these together: meditate and ground. Grounding is so important. We need to remember that we are in these physical bodies in this physical world, and we really are here to not only express these spiritual thoughts and express this spiritual life, but we need to ground ourselves into the earth and remember that we are physical human beings and we require grounding. Grounding into Mother Earth is so amazing because it helps us feel safe. It helps us feel connected to something that's bigger than us, and it allows us to transmute energy. And so whenever you are picking up on really negative energy, if you're super grounded, you can send that energy, transmute it into the earth. You can just send that energy through you. It's already like trying to get in you, on you. Just send that energy down into the earth, and Mother Earth will take care of it like she always does. She is an incredible healer. Don't ever hesitate for 1 second to think that you cannot call on our mother planet to heal you. But grounding is so important because that also helps you understand your energy. And when you're grounded in yourself, you just know what's you, and you're like, that's not me. That's not me. I know what my energy is and what someone else's is. And so meditation and grounding, that's step number 3. All right. So step number 4, this is interesting. Closing your eyes. And closing your eyes whenever you're in maybe a situation where you're confused about whether it's your energy or not. I really enjoy closing my eyes because it takes one sense away. And so I feel like it strengthens my sense of sound. It strengthens my sense of feeling. And I can really, and sometimes I'll even get a visual, which is even cooler. But closing my eyes, if I'm trying to figure out if it's mine or not, definitely helps. Our third eye can pick up things that our regular eyes cannot. And so if you can get that visual and trust the visual that you receive, a lot of times you'll be able to pinpoint what is your energy and what is not. And so my next tip number 5, this is more of an exercise that you can do. I did this for a while whenever I was really trying to heighten my psychic abilities, especially my feeling, calling in angels. Now, why angels? Well, angels have a super high vibration. And usually when they enter your space, you can feel it. Now, it takes a while to be able to feel it, but this practice is really good for that. And so calling in an angel until you feel them enter and until you feel the energy shift in your space. And this could just look like, you sitting in your room doing a meditation practice, setting the intention to connect with a specific angel and calling them in. Archangel Michael, please be with me now. And you would sit there as long as it takes. I would say maybe like 5-10 minutes. If you don't feel it by then, that's fine. Do it another day. But really just sit there and set the intention to connect. Call that angel in and feel them enter the room. And I guarantee that you'll be able to feel them after the few times that you do it. If you're persistent and you really want to grow your abilities and feel more and have a deeper understanding of what you're feeling, because angels definitely have their own specific feeling. A lot of times I'll actually hear them land because they're huge. They're really, really huge. And so they're big. And so a lot of times when they land, I hear them actually thump on the ground. Everybody has their own experience, but I really think that practicing calling in angels and feeling their energy is really good. A good way to practice and to understand and feel what a different energy other than yourself is and feels like. Okay, so number 6, this is actually really important, and I really find that I'm learning that a lot of people go through this. So if someone makes you feel uncomfortable without even speaking to you, trust that. A lot of times you'll be like, I feel uncomfortable around this person, but this person hasn't done anything to me. Like, this person hasn't said anything to me, done anything to me. I really don't even know them that much, but I really just don't feel comfortable around them. Trust that. Why? Because they're probably thinking thoughts about you that are not so good. And I learned that you can feel other people's negative thoughts about you, and it'll come off like you be feeling uncomfortable. And this happened to me. This happens to me all the time, actually. I'm not going to lie. Like, this really does happen to me a lot, where I have to physically distance myself from people because I feel it so harshly. And I definitely limit my interaction with those people as much as I can, because I don't want to be around somebody that is having negative thoughts about me, especially thoughts that I'm feeling so deeply. Then that means that there is deep hate and resentment. And I really don't want to put myself in a room with somebody that has those kind of thoughts about me. That doesn't mean that they're actually going to act on those thoughts, but just knowing that a person has negative thoughts about you that harshly, that you can feel them, is really intense. And I'm sorry, but I'm not sticking around for that. So trust that feeling. That person probably doesn't like you. Now, unfortunately, we have jobs and things like that we can't just up and leave whenever somebody feels this way about us. But you can protect yourself. I have so many episodes on protection. Go look at my podcast. I know there's one when the dark comes for you, but there are so many ways that you can protect yourself. Prayer is definitely, honestly, I feel like that's the highest of protection that I love to use is prayer. I love healing crystals. I love wearing them. I love wearing the evil eye. It definitely protects you a lot. I love wearing obsidian. I love shungite. I love any kind of dark crystal that's super protective. But you always want to go out with your protection, and you really just want to be mindful of your energy before you leave the house and what you're feeling, because that really does matter. And while you're on this journey, you're learning how to feel more. And you're learning how to not only feel more, but understand what you're feeling, because I think that that's the most important part, is understanding what it is you're feeling. Because as as psychics, we're all psychics. We all have these abilities as humans, I guess I should say. We all have this ability to feel deeply. And so, let's trust ourselves. Let's get to know ourselves. I think that getting to know ourselves is probably the most important thing. Getting to know who we are, getting to know what we believe in, getting to know how we feel ourselves, what our energy is like. I think that's always really, really helpful. But we're all psychic. We all have these abilities. It's just that we have to learn how to use them. We have to not feel like they are a curse, because it's not a curse to feel deeply. We can open ourselves up to so much spiritual healing work that is out there for us to do, that we can use our feeling so deeply to connect with other souls and to heal them. To do collective work that involves feeling deeply, that involves journeying and healing and protecting and clearing and transmuting. Whenever you can feel deeply, you can feel other people. You can talk to their higher selves. You can travel dimensions just by feeling deeply and trusting what you feel. And so if you are on this journey and you really are learning and wanting to learn how to decode energy and to feel more and to not be afraid of feeling more, I highly suggest meditation. I highly suggest closing your eyes and getting visuals. I highly suggest calling in angels and feeling their energy so that you can become adept at feeling energy entering your space. These are all just really important things, and things that I have done to help skyrocket me spiritually to the point where I know when somebody is trying to manipulate me. I know when somebody is stealing my energy. I know when somebody doesn't like me. I know these things. And you know what? The knowing those things can protect you. The knowing of those things that cannot be seen can help you move along your journey and deflect those negative people, those negative circumstances, those negative places. And it'll just allow you to flow a little bit easier on your path. I'm not saying you're not going to run into those things, but you're going to see them with your spiritual eye. You're going to feel them, and you're going to be able to make the correct move. You're going to be able to say, hey, I don't want you as a friend. I'm sorry, but you don't really like me, and I don't understand why you want to be around me right now. Or enough to be like, hey, I don't think that I want to be here. I think that I need to leave this place. If you go somewhere and you feel uncomfortable, this is just for you. If you're thinking of it just like, I want it for me to know what the hell is going on in the world, when I'm out in it, that's enough. So I pray that you find the strength in yourself to trust what you feel, because in the end, it's going to be so much better to just know, understand, and feel, and be able to decode all of the things that are happening around you, because there's so much going on all the time. And it's really fun to experience and know things. And I just wish this for everyone. I really do. I don't think we need to be in the dark about energy. I think that we need to be screaming at the rooftops about energy, and because we are energy, and energy is all around us. And who doesn't want more information about how to safely navigate this crazy world? Wow, that was really fun. Thank you so much for joining me today. I love coming on here. I love talking to you all. It really it soothes my heart, and it just makes me so happy. Head on over and rate my show. It just helps me kind of shoot up there on the podcast channel. So go ahead, rate my show, leave me some kind of comment. And I just made an Instagram page for Illuminate Your Truth. It's called Illuminate Your Truth Podcast. Head on over to that. Follow me on there. And I'm really just excited to take this podcast to the next level. I don't know who's ready for it, but I am. So thank you so much for joining me. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye for now.